Hello, this is Kieran, and in this video we're going to cover the things that you should know, the things you should do, and the things you should not do in the Triple Trouble World Boss event for Guild Wars 2 as a Mesmer. So the first thing we're going to cover is how to set up your Mesmer for this event. You're going to have to take 4 points and put them in your inspiration line. You want to put Glamour Mastery as one of them, and the other one is going to be Temporal Enchanter. These will reduce your recharge on your glamour skills by 20% and add 2 seconds to the duration, which is great for your feedback. So as far as your weapons, armor, and your consumables go, keep in mind your primary mission is to do reflecting, not to do damage to the boss, not to do damage to the veteran worms, or any of the other ads that respawn. So bring things that will keep you alive, such as soldier's gear, rated at power, toughness, and vitality. Om-Nom Berry Bread gives you vitality and things of that nature. You're not going to be doing so much damage that you need to worry about Zerker gear. You can bring it, just keep in mind your primary mission is reflecting. Now, having said that, as far as your weapons go, I would bring a greatsword. That way, when your feedback is on cooldown, you can assist the Zerg or Condi team in burning down veteran worms. And then the other weapon set would be the Sword Focus. That way you can throw down temporal curtains for speed buffs for the Zerg when they're running around filling phytotoxins and running kegs. Keep in mind, don't get distracted, you're there to reflect. Now as far as where you actually position yourself, during most of the fight you will stay at range of your feedback. The way to actually figure out that range is to use your focus skill number 4, your temporal curtain. Now when you're trying to place it on the ground, it's blue, meaning that's where you can place it. When it goes red, that means it's out of range. So if you finagle your targeting reticle to where you know exactly the maximum range, that's where your feedback will land when you fire off your feedback. It happens to be the same distance as the max distance of your temporal curtain. So here, as you can see, I've dropped my temporal curtain as far as I can. It's at its maximum range, and when I drop my feedback, the temporal curtain will be in the dead center of the feedback. This means that if you put your temporal curtain on the boss, it'll give you the exact same range for your feedback. The other way to judge where you're going to be standing is that you will be just inside the AoE circle of the large spin from the worm. Here you can see the AoE circle on the ground. And as I move forward, you can also see that I'm terrain associating myself. I know that I'm just inside the water, no longer standing on the dirt, and that's where I fire off my feedback. You also don't want to face directly at the worm, but slightly forward of it. So as you can see here, my cursor is kind of in the center forward portion of the worm. If you face that location and then cast your feedback, it will be perfectly placed. So there are a few things you can do that can prevent you from being a good reflect mesmer. One, if you're not paying attention and you miss a reflect because you were going around DPSing a worm or something like that, you could let the eggs get out and people are going to notice your reflect not being there. Also, if you are running around with your greatsword, DPSing veteran worms, and you use greatsword number 2, which is basically an AoE attack, when you hit, a veteran worm, your sword can bounce off and hit a husk. That's, you drawing aggro, so that would be a bad thing. The other thing is when you actually go to fire off your reflect on the boss, if you have the boss targeted, you will actually drop your feedback in front of the worm instead of on the worm, and there's a potential for missing the eggs. So make sure that you have it untargeted when you cast your feedback. Now if you want to do double damage, what you're going to do is you'll approach the worm from the back, step inside of it, swing your weapon, and you notice that I'm getting 2 sets of numbers here where my cursor is. That means double cleave. In order to do this, you must have auto-targeting turned off in your options menu. So options, scroll down, and make sure auto-targeting is deselected. With it selected, that means the game is going to choose the target. You'll only hit one target. And for the last little trick, as a Mesmer, if you want to stand inside the AoE circle of the large spin, with your sword, you can press the number 2 skill, which is your Blurred Frenzy, and it will allow you to evade the attack as soon as you see the AoE circle form at your feet. Push number 2, and you will go into that blurred, frenzied state and allow you to dodge the attack with taking no damage. That was a lot to take in, but that's pretty much it. Everything you need to know, do, and don't do for Triple Trouble as a Mesmer in reflecting. I'm Kieran, and I'm with the Ethereal Guardians.